Look, the Frimpong Boateng report is the obituary of Nana Addo's fraudulent fight against Galamsey. You know why I'm saying so? Because it is this report which has settled the issue of whether or not President Akufo-Addo is committed to the fight against Galamsey once and for all. Because any reasonable, objective mind who reads that report, 37-page report, authored by the German-trained cardiothoracic surgeon, former Minister for Environment and Science, and chairman of the Interministerial Committee Against Illegal Mining, will come to the inevitable conclusion that Nana Addo's proclaimed fight against Galamsey was a sham, it was a scam, it was a charade, and that the real intention behind that proclaimed fight, as some of us have always maintained, is that he just wanted to kick out legal Ghanaian small-scale miners from the mining industry and help his government and party functionaries to take over the illicit Galamsey menace with their Chinese and other foreign collaborators. And nothing more. That is what the Frimpong Boateng report shows. And that is why our brothers are jumping over themselves very desperately to discredit the report, discredit Frimpong Boateng, including insulting him and calling him names. Of course, Honorable Titus Glover has not done that. He sounded a bit patriotic on the matter, calling for investigations, indicating that the evidence is strong enough for investigations and all that. And that is commendable. But if you listen to other surrogates and spokespersons of the MPP, clearly you can see that they are uncomfortable with the fact that Frimpong Boateng's report has exposed the duplicity, the hypocrisy, the dishonesty of President Akufo-Addo. Now, Alfred, before I come to some of the responses they have given to the report, just for those who are not aware of the key highlights of the report, Professor Frimpong Boateng, this is not Sammy Gyamfi or Martin Pibu, Professor Frimpong Boateng, in this report says that after President Akufo-Addo banned legal small-scale mining for 1 year, 3 months, banned excavators belonging to legal Ghanaian small-scale miners, and killed some in the process, all in the name of fighting Galamsey. President Akufo-Addo ended up making Galamsey a free-for-all enterprise for his party members and government officials. So much so that today Frimpong Boateng says the Jubilee House is the headquarters of Galamsey in Ghana. And that from presidential staffers like Charles Niteko Tego to the personal assistant of the Chief of Staff, Protozwa, to the Director of Operations at the Presidency, Lord Comey, they are all actively engaged in Galamsey. And the man just didn't talk. He provided further and better particulars to support that claim. And I'm very happy that Titus Glover did not even attempt to defend those people. Because those people don't have to be defended. Like he said, people who engage in illegal mining are worse than armed robbers. Because what they do is that to satisfy their greed and selfishness, they destroy water bodies that we rely on for our very sustenance. You know that water is life. And so if you destroy our water bodies, our forest reserves, just to satisfy your insatiable greed and selfishness, like these appointees have shamelessly done, you are a murderer, you are a criminal, and you don't deserve to be defended. Frimpong Boateng again talks about the fact that right from the national executive level of the MPP to the unit committee level, regional executives, national executives, they are all engaged in indiscriminate Galamsey with Chinese, destroying our water bodies. This is not the gospel according to the NDC or Sammy Gyamfi. That can't say, if the alligator comes from under the water to tell you that the crocodile is dead, you don't argue with him. The man was at the helm of affairs in charge of the fight. And this is his verdict. He says that a member of parliament, Honorable Albert Joseph Kwam, under the guise of community mining, obtained a lot of mining concessions, which he sold at a whopping 2 billion old Ghana cedis to individuals in this country.
He was on the show last week. He says he's going to contest this in court.
Yes, I mean, I would be very happy if some of them decide to go to court, because Professor Frimpong Boateng anytime he has been challenged, has come back forcefully with further and better particulars, with even more evidence to substantiate the claims he has made in the report. You see, some of the responses we are hearing from our friends in the NPP are very insulting, to say the least. And I want to start with their response on the issue of the missing excavators. We know, as a matter of fact, that excavators were seized from illegal miners by Operation Vanguard, by Galamsey, and so on. True of us. And we know that those seized excavators till date have not been accounted for. True of us.
There are some of them in some sites, but a number of...
Not accounted for. So we also know that even Frimpong Boateng, before he resigned, when he was a serving minister of Environment and Science of this government, filed a police complaint against the then vice chairman of the NPP in the Central Region, Ekwusi, as the one responsible for the missing excavators. So there is no debate that excavators which were seized from illegal miners have either been stolen or have been sold or have been given back to illegal miners or Chinese for Galamsey in our forest reserves and water bodies. There is no doubt about that. But Frimpong Boateng buttressed his claim with a statement authored and signed by a journalist who works with Despite Media called Seth Mante. The statement can be found on page 27 and page 28 of Frimpong Boateng's report. Written in ink. Yeah. Put it on the screen for people to see. In this statement, the said journalist confesses that he was working with the then Central Regional Security Coordinator, right? Yeah. And Ekwusi on the seized excavators. And that people were paying bribes, 50,000 cedis per excavators, 55,000 cedis per excavators, to him. And that when they pay the bribes, he launders the money in his account at NIB. Master, Frimpong Boateng didn't just talk. He attached that written statement, police statement, in his report. Uncle Titus, can we disregard this police statement? That a journalist is saying that I know where the missing excavators went to. I was very much a part of this whole scheme, corrupt scheme, of extorting money from illegal miners whose excavators had been seized and so on. Master, even before Frimpong Boateng, Kennedy Japan has sat on his TV station on the 2. And I don't know if Titus Glover or any MPP communicator can say that he knows better about the inner workings of the MPP than Kennedy Akumprekwe Japan. He is on record to have said that all the seized excavators and even the gold relics they seized from the illegal miners have been stolen. Kennedy Japan said this even before Frimpong Boateng came to say this. Google. Even Peter Mewu is on record to have said that Operation Vanguard, elements in Operation Vanguard were engaged in illegal mining, even before this report came. The Eastern Regional Minister, Eric Daffo, is on record to have said that MPP and government functionaries and elements of Operation Vanguard were also engaged in illegal mining. All these things are facts. Who doesn't know that under Sir John, forest entry permits were given indiscriminately to illegal miners and Chinese to destroy our forest reserves? Is the evidence not on the ground? Go to the Krobo Forest Reserve today. Go to the Pamprama Forest Reserve today. Go to the Diaso Forest Reserve today. Go and check the color of River Pra, the color of River Ankobra, the color of River Brim. Today, they are as brown as chocolate. That is the terminal report of President Akufo-Addo's fraudulent fight against Galamsey. So there cannot be any debate about this report. And what every patriotic Ghanaian, what every reasonable, objective mind in this country must do is to call for a public bipartisan probe into this matter. A
public bipartisan probe.
Alfred, they say that, apart from the excavators matter that they are trying to brush aside, they say that Frimpong Boateng said that there was Galamsey in President Akufo-Addo's house in Chebi, and that was a lie. Because it's not possible. My brother is talking about the height of President Akufo-Addo's fence wall and all that. Please, can you put back on the screen the excerpts of the report which talks about this issue? Okay. Put it back. So because you see, they are lying. Hold on. Alfred.
Yes, the page 29.
Frimpong Boateng never said that Galamsey has been taking place in the residence of President Akufo-Addo at Chebi. he said that he got information from Eric Entry, who is a known security detail of the president in Chebi. Known, everybody knows it, very popular.
Eric Entry?
Yes, this Eric Entry, very known. I know him.
You know him?
Of course. He manages President Akufo-Addo's household, his farm, and I'll be talking about these things in Chebi. Frimpong Boateng mentions that he got a call from him that there was Galamsey ongoing on a field close to President Akufo-Addo's house.
That's on page 29 of
yes,
that report.
Not in President Akufo-Addo's house.
We'll put it on the screen earlier.
Close to President Akufo-Addo's house. And he said the Galamsey had an effect on the president's garden. The nature of the effect on the president's garden, he didn't disclose. And that is why you need a probe to know the nature of that effect he was talking about. So if you take journalists, you buzz them to your residence, you are behaving like a student who goes into an examination hall with his own questions and proceed to answer his questions. Because Frimpong Boateng didn't talk about Akufo-Addo's residence. He said a field close to the residence. Number two, President Akufo-Addo doesn't have only one residence in Chebi.
But that's the part of the report that you see there.
I had a telephone call from Mr. Eric Entry of the Office of the President, and he narrated that the youth organizer of the MPP in Chebi was excavating for gold in a field close to the house of His Excellency the President of the Republic. Yeah. So clearly, they are just deceiving the media. Number two,
so
I am putting it on record
that Eric Entry should be called.
Exactly.
And
number two, the said activity we are talking about happened in 2021. They got this report, and the Chief of Staff got this report more than 26 months ago. If they were interested in establishing the truth, why didn't they buzz the media to Akufo-Addo's residence and its environs then?
That was in 2021.
26 months after the facts. After Frimpong Boateng says the land has been reclaimed and revegetated, if you send media men even to the environs, are you going to see anything? No. This is common sense. Number three, I want to put on record here on TV3 that President Akufo-Addo doesn't just own one property in Chebi. The house he took the journalist to is his mother's residence at Chebi New Town. But apart from that, Akufo-Addo owns a property in between Chebi Esikam and Adukrum, Honorable Ofusu-Ampofo's hometown. That property is also a security zone which is fenced. And on that property, which is managed by the said Eric Entry, National Security Operative, he runs a cattle farm there and has a garden there. I am daring the presidency that if they say that Galamsey is not going on any property of the president in Chebi, I am daring them. Let them buzz media men to that property and let's see what will come out.
Which specific property are you talking about?
His property between Chebi Sikam and Adukrum.
That is where this Eric Entry is.
Yes, he manages both that and the president's mother's residence at Chebi New Town, which is where they took the media men to. I am saying that this other property too, they should send the people there. We are not children in this household, in this country.
Yeah, it's a house.
We are not children in this country. We know what is happening. We have our ears on the ground. Some of them got wind of the fact that we were intending to come there, and they have been sending threats that if we step there, they will shoot us and kill us. They should wait. All the truth will come out. You see, the truth is like pregnancy. You can't hide it forever.
Amen.
God is the one exposing President Akufo-Addo, his
Amen.
Duplicity, his hypocrisy, his dishonesty on this Galamsey matter.
Amen.
Do you know the amount of money that they have spent on this Galamsey fight? Billions of cedis spent on Galamstop, spent on Operation Vanguard, spent on procuring drones to fight Galamsey. All gone down the drain. When President Akufo-Addo goes to Chebi, does he feel proud as an indigene of Chebi? And senior, maybe you don't know, in Chebi, Akufo-Addo's hometown, people do Galamsey in their bedrooms. In their bedrooms. Today, go to Chebi, walk the streets of Chebi. You will visibly see Galamsey going on indiscriminately in the township of Chebi. The most obscene form of criminality I've ever witnessed in this country. Go, when President Akufo-Addo goes to his hometown and he sees the River Brim, how does he feel? The River Brim that people drink from. Alfred, go and look at the diseases that people have contracted from drinking this cyanide, mercury polluted water. People are dying. People are getting all manner of skin rashes. Today, Ghana Water Company Limited is telling us that they can't even cope with the high cost of treating these water bodies because of Galamsey.
Okay, so let me put it
and then you have a chief of staff, let me just conclude, who says that I was given this 37-page report 26 months ago, but I did nothing about it because the report was not on a letterhead. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I did nothing wrong with it because the report was not packaged well. Can you imagine? All these people are involved. And senior, it has gotten to a time where all of us must come together, irrespective of our political affiliation. Look, some of you have said that the report even talks about NDC people engaged in illegal mining. Show us those NDC people, and we will all go after them. Nobody must be shielded. Whether NDC, whether NPP, if you go and do Galamsey in a water body, you are a criminal.
That's it.
You have been given the authority of the states to crack down on this criminality. For you to be talking about NDC people who are engaged in illegal mining actually underscores your uselessness, because you are sick, you have all the powers. You are the commander-in-chief. You have placed your presidency on the line to fight illegal mining. I'm talking about President Akufo-Addo. And people are destroying our water bodies, okay, such that today we all face imminent extinction. And what is your response? You say opposition elements are also doing Galamsey. What is the essence of the power we give you? Of what usefulness are you to us if you cannot use that power to crack down on the activities of all these people? When the water bodies are polluted, when you drink those Galamsey polluted water bodies, whether you are NDC or MPP, you will die from it. Indeed. So Galamsey has no political colors. Where we have gotten, this is, when we went to school, Alfred, they told us that water is life. And they told us that when the last tree dies, the last man dies. Our very survival, sustenance as human beings is interdependent on these water bodies and these forest reserves. Anybody who, because of greed and selfishness, destroys these natural resources in the way we have seen in the last 6 and 7 years are criminals. So don't defend them. Let's join us. Let's call them out. You understand?
You are saying that if we have the president, you say there's knowledge that the president has another property in Chebi Esikem.
And in fact, in that property, there is a building.
Chebi Esikem specifically.
From Chebi, you go to Pano. From Pano, Esikem to Adukrum, Honorable Fuswampofu's hometown. I'm saying that at Esikem, between Esikem and Adukrum, it is a big land with a long, send your reporters there. All the people in the community knows it belongs to President Akufo-Addo. It is a security zone. You go and see national security operatives there. I am daring the president, send Elton John Brobe and the presidential press corps back there. And let us see what they will find out.